19 nipple-plated hells did it ever come to this? How did we ever go from a limited third branch of government appointed yet cucked by congressional review dedicated to the interpretation and application of the law and constitution in a court of law to an entity so entrenched in political party sports, so singularly devoted to the enterprise of interfering with the duly elected process, we now impel a goddamn grandma with a cancer condition more lethal than licking Charlie Sheen's toilet seat to subsist on trucker crack and silverback steroids. In short, all but cybernetically augmenting Granny Rags so she can remain on the bench solely to prop up an illegal court decision now in its fifth fucking decade of ignominious existence. And don't skate by that sentiment, folks. When the media, the canned laughter cartel, and late-night comedy, Ocasio Chavez and the rest of the Muff Mafia claim it's crucial this woman remain on the bench despite being treated for her second incurable condition in a 7-month stretch because it'll somehow roll back decades of progress, you need to see that for precisely what it is. It's the media, the DNC establishment, Congress, and indeed the courts admitting in unison that the Supreme Court is an engine of political proselytism, not the impartial arbiter of constitutional interpretation they were founded to fucking be. For why fear Ginsburg's retirement at all if they haven't been using the Bill of Rights as a constitutional cum rag for half a fucking century? Sort of kind of like exactly what I said they were doing in my stench for the bench rant from, a fucking year ago. For their argument to exist at all, the Supreme Court has to have been irreparably perverted from its original purpose. Period. Don't saunter on past, don't shift the fucking subject, they just admitted it. So scold the pinko puppies for peeing on the rug or they won't learn a fucking thing. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has pancreatic cancer, literally the most lethal variant of major cancer you can conceivably contract, sporting a mortality rate north of 90%, even for the relatively young, and only increasing as you age. Mainstream media spun the merry fuck out of it by saying it was caught early and she was successfully treated for the fucking thing, but folks, treated, even successfully, in this case, is not cured. And given that she had a tumor the size of a peach pit carved off her colon in '99 and multiple malignant tumors shaved off her lungs late last year, if she were a building, she'd be condemned.
It was beyond my wildest imagination that I would one day become the notorious RBG.
U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg back in the public eye for the first time since treatment for pancreatic cancer. Ginsburg took the stage on Monday to receive an honorary degree at the SUNY University at Buffalo. The 86-year-old justice said the event was a moment of, quote, sorrow for her, as the distinguished former Cornell classmate who'd invited her to the ceremony had since passed away.
He asked me to confirm that I would come to Buffalo in August 2019 in any event. I did so immediately, and I did not withdraw when my own health problems presented challenges.
So long as I'm spinning in my seat and shouting, fuck you, I was right, if only some roguishly handsome bastard had stated that the conspiracy theory of Bader biting the big one while her corpse was concealed from the public till after the election was a cauldron of bubbling bullshit, stating instead that the conspiracy cracks were an AstroTurf smokescreen for the fact that she was mortally fucking ill, and one look at her Lyran mug would persuade even the most ardent man-bun bedecked soy pod to shriek that she should resign for the good of both herself and the court?
I am Nostradamus!
Between Biden and Bader Ginsburg, how is it that in 5 months the DNC went from Russian plots to grave plots? Mind you, all this cuck and dagger is so we can avoid putting the issue of abortion up to Congress, as you should have to fucking begin with. This despite the fact that our modern culture is so puerile and permissive that such a measure would probably pass anyway, a sentiment Ginsburg herself would likely appreciate, given that she penned one of the most persuasive criticisms of Roe v. Wade ever published. And while sharing Cyber Ginsburg and Weekend at Ruthie's memes is perfectly harmless fun, if you're one of the fair few people crossing every appendage and sincerely desiderating for this crone to croak, allow me to provide the bucket of ice water for the asshole orgy. Look, folks, the last thing in the world anyone on the right should want is for this broad to bite it. If she retires, fuck it, you replace her. But if she dirt naps on the job, the DNC will have such a surfeit of sympathy points they could cash in and delay a Supreme Court appointment damn near indefinitely. I want her home, fighting, surrounded by family, where I sincerely hope she defies the odds. The between 9 and 4% fucking odds. But did we learn nothing from John McCain crafting conspiracies from his deathbed, refusing to fucking resign and leaving an entire state without Senate representation for half a fucking term? No one wants you gravely ill, but once you are, you do the right thing and move your Marxist ass aside. The Supreme Court is not your soapbox, right or left, and as a basic rule, it may be time to consider stepping down as the biggest scrotus on the SCOTUS when the bailiff doubles as a fucking pallbearer. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.